Hey guys, you look a little lost. Do you need help?
Who said that?
Where are you? And why is your voice so monotone?
Don't worry about that. I'm here to help. Remember, camping is a potentially dangerous activity if done so improperly. Fire, sharp objects, and wildlife must be considered before attempting to go camping, but that shouldn't stop you. Happy camping! But wait, you'll need some materials to camp with. Here's a tent, food sack, tarp, lighter fluid, matches, rope. There's also some firewood, and most importantly, rocks. Step 1. Find flat ground large enough to set up your tent. Be sure to clear out the spot you choose from rocks and other potentially sharp objects. Step 2. Before you set up your tent, you'll want to lay down a tarp as its foundation. This is done to protect the tent from any type of debris or from moisture seeping in from the ground. Step 3. Lay out the tent materials and inspect for any damage. Remember, every tent is different in its own way. Besides having the typical poles and stakes, this tent also had its own rainfly used to protect the tent from the elements. Let's begin to set up our tent by laying out the tent fabric. Tent poles are essential to the structural integrity of the tent. We need to assemble these poles by unfolding them and aligning them in a straight line as shown. By then, they should all just click into place. Step 4. Now that the poles are assembled, identify the areas where the poles go through the tent. You should start with one pole at a time. At each corner, there should be a pin attached to the tent. Begin by putting the end of the pole in one of the pins and thread the pole through the mesh to the opposite corner, where you can connect the other end of the pole to the other pin. Repeat for the other pole. Now with everything in place, it is time for our tent to rise up. Use tension to lift the tent up as shown. As aforementioned, tents and their accessories are made uniquely. For this tent's rainfly, we unfolded the rainfly material and used our last remaining pole to bisect the fabric in coordination with the Velcro straps. We then placed that rainfly over the tent and clipped it to the stake ring, as shown. Speaking of the stake ring, we could finally move on to step 5, staking. Staking is done to ground the tent and tarp in case of moderate to severe winds or flooding that can cause them to fly or float away. Our stakes have a hook at the end of them to attach to the stake ring. Attach the stake to the ring and hammer each stake into the ground with a rock. Then voila! You'll have yourself a fully assembled tent. Now that you've set up your tent, it's time to start the fire. As always, please remember to utilize extreme caution when handling with flammable materials. Before you actually build a fire, you need to make sure you are building it in a safe area. The best way to do this is to gather rocks and form them in a circle. This is done to prevent any stray embers from igniting the surrounding areas. After you have set up your rock circle, find some dry kindling, which can be sticks, dry weeds, or anything flammable, to place into the middle of the fire pit. If it is wet where you are, we recommend bringing your own kindling. You may then place your firewood into a pyramid shape on top of the kindling. Placing firewood into a pyramid shape is a very tricky task, even for the most experienced campers, so don't give up if it doesn't work out on the first try. The last step. Finally, use a match to light the kindling on fire. Make sure you are a safe distance, or about an arm's length away, from the fire so you do not get burned from the sudden increase in heat. You may then pour about 3 to 4 squirts of lighter fluid on top of the logs. Here's your fire. It's literally lit. Now that you have found shelter and have made your fire, you need to find a way to keep your food safe from any wild animals. You're going to want to find a tree that is high enough to hang your food. Now you want to tie the food sack and hang it from a branch. Any standard knot should work. Throw the rope over the branch and pull on it to hoist the bag up in a makeshift pulley system. Make sure to secure the other end of the rope to the tree so you don't need to hold it forever. Congratulations! You now know how to set up your tarp and tent, build a fire, and hang your food sack. Happy camping!